and you give them a chance to realize who they Mel Blunt and Donnie Shell. They don't know them boys went to South Carolina State and Southern University.
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
Uh, um, um, we have a one of our followers and viewers is asking ask him about a book. My question is: are you in the process of writing the book? Have you written the book, or
he already wrote a book, Coach? You should have asked me.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Let me say this.
Quarterback, man.
I did in 1990. That was a book came out. They called it Quarter Black.
Yeah.
And me, Warren Moon, Marlon Briscoe, and Shaq also cooperated on a piece, Third and a Mile. And now I am in the process of working on one. I got a lady working on one. I don't know when it's going to come out, but we're working on it.
Yeah. Make sure, Coach, so we can definitely get you back on the show.
Let me ask you this, Doug. Would you ever consider depicting your story on screen and as a biopic or something? Something like that.
We did have a deal. Me and Will Packer and Lion Gates. We did have a deal, but remember when the writers went on strike?
Yeah.
And that kind of hurt it because it was in the process of going forward, and then all of a sudden Lion Gates pull out of it. And that just happened during the writer's strike the last year.
So it's still on the books though. It's still on the books.
But Lion Gates pulled out, so they didn't want to do it anymore. And Will and I, we talked about the contract part of it is none and void right now. But I've had a lady, my husband called me, talked about it, and I told her we'll keep talking about it and see what happens.
Because I think that would be of course, if they can make Boys in the Hood and all those other movies. And y'all saying it like it's funny, but what I'm saying is your story is inspirational in a way that's otherworldly. When you think about where you come from in Louisiana to become a black quarterback, to be run fourth in the Heisman, and then in the era in which you became a starting quarterback, and then one of the things that's not mentioned very much is that you went to play in the USFL for a while and then came back to the NFL to win a Super Bowl. I mean, like that seemed like that would be a sensational story. And I know there's some tragedy in your life that we don't have to discuss right now that you also overcome in the midst of all of that turmoil, man. I think it would be a sensational movie. Any filmmakers out there, man, Doug has an amazing story, and I think if it was put on film, it would be a box office hit, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Doug, see, I got some bad boys, Coach. That's why I win all the time, Doug. These cats here, they do their homework. They be on it, Coach.
Man, I'm gonna text Will Packer right now. That's my little brother. I'm gonna text Will Packer right now to get this thing back rolling, man. Because Doug, I know you listen. Everybody remembers. See, that's why you got to have a movie, because everybody remembers. Well, whatever his name now, Bruce Jenner and the White Tiger with Harry Belafonte. Everybody, we all grew up with that, man.
My baby brother was in that movie. Mike was in that movie.
Mike. You know, Mike.
Let me ask you a question. Was it not Shaq Harris that came in to actually replace him? Was he the quarterback?
No. Matt Reed.
Matt Reed
was the quarterback at that time.
Okay.
You know
and let me tell you this. Let me tell you, Jane Gregory probably played 10 plays his whole life at Grambling. 10 plays. Not 10 games.
Doug, this is probably our last question before we get out of here, but I have to ask this question this way. January 31st, 1988. What does that day mean to you?
Well, you know what? The good part about it, I still can remember that day. That's the good part about it. It's been so long. But you know what? When you get up every morning, it's a lot of things, you're thankful, number one, for getting up, It's a lot of things you remember. And that's one day that's probably going to, as long as my own mind and my brains are working, going to always hit me on that one, But you always think about one thing, though. that it was me. But I wonder if they gave the other guys an opportunity. Could it have been Jimmy Ray and Marlon Briscoe, James Harris, and those boys? Because they still had the talent. And Coach Rob always say, it's about opportunity. You got to have opportunity.
As a young teenager in Waco, Texas, watching that on TV, I absolutely hated the Redskins growing up. I just want you to know that. Joe Theismann and those guys. But on that day, I was the biggest Redskin fan that you could imagine, because I didn't like John Elway very much either. And for you to have that second quarter that your team had, and for you to have that performance on that stage, I think from that day, that point on, the NFL has never been the same again. I just wonder, do you realize how big that moment was for the history of the NFL?
But you know what? That's a good question, because at the end of the day, it's not a matter of realizing it, because that was my job. That's what I did, and even today, I guess I go a lot of places up here. Every player in that locker room where I am today, what they call me? Every last one of them call me legend. Every last one of them, not one of them. The white boys, everybody. That's what they say. Hey, legend. I go in town in D.C., man, you're a legend. You this. Game time. You're a legend, man. But at the same time, I didn't play the game to be a legend. I played the game because I like playing the game, and it happens. I can't do nothing about it. If that's how they think, that's fine. But you don't even think about that. As a player, you want to play the game, man. And I guess that's part of your legacy. You just leave your legacy, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
Now this is my wife, Doug. She's watching the show now, and she's asking what happened on that day.
Well, Miss
Tell her. Instead of you gonna tell her tonight when you get home.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. The first black quarterback in the history of the NFL won the biggest game in the NFL, which was a Super Bowl. And so it'll always be in my memory, etched in my memory, that day of watching something happen that I, at 16, 17, 18, I never thought I would see, because black quarterbacks just didn't get a fair shake. You know what I mean? Whether it be Vince Evans, Marlon Briscoe, James Harris, Jefferson Street Johnson, they just didn't ever get a fair shake. And I remember it so to the point to where you didn't start but the last game of the season, and then for some reason going into the playoffs, you were named the starting quarterback in the playoffs, and then from then on.
Well, I started a couple games during the season, but I came in 3 games to relieve the quarterback and went on to win the games.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just so happened that last game of the year, I came off the bench and we ended up winning. And that's when Joe Gibbs said that he was going to start me for the playoff, and that's when all the history started.
Okay.
Did you get any backlash? Did Joe Gibbs get any backlash for that decision that he made
in DC?
Yes.
No.
Tell him to listen. As someone who lived in DC and would have said it, bro. Listen, that
in
was
DC?
the perfect game for that to happen, man.
Oh man, it wasn't a better place. It wasn't a better place for a black man to be playing. Okay. And you know the thing about it, the last team to integrate in the National Football League. Ain't that something? They had a black man leading to the Super Bowl. No, DC was fine.
Yeah. Coach, well, my last question, because I'm glad you jarred me. All right, going into the game, is it something that you guys seen that they were giving up, that you felt, because I knew all the wide receivers, they used to call them the Three Amigos or something.
No, that was I had the posse.
Yeah, the posse, yeah. Sanders and that group. Is it something that you guys seen all week, or I guess you get 2 weeks to prepare? Is it something you guys seen, or that you felt that y'all could beat them deep? What was it? Because man, you was on fire.
Well, let me say that the number one thing was, they got off to a hell of a start. Believe me,
10-0.
Shoot.
Yeah.
kicked off to us, and Ricky Sanders formed the kickoff, and we found a way to recover the ball. But no, during the week, Joe Gibbs believed in running the football, whether you know it or not,
Yeah. Oh, no,
and we said that we can run the football on Denver because Denver was a smaller team who was a gimmick team who liked to run stunts and do everything else. But we felt like with the offensive line that we had, we get to run that counter gap and that 40 and 50 gut and that 50 and 60 bang, that it was going to take a toll on them boys up front. And it did. We got to the point that we was running, the counter gap so much that we caught Tony Lilly playing safety. We had 60 counter pass after the second pass. The first pass was actually just regular hits, but they came up to press. When you press and no help against us during that time, well, you got to win. We believe that if you come up press no help on us, that means you ain't got no help from the safety. That the three receivers we had, you was gonna win, and that's exactly what happened with Ricky Sanders. And when he do that, then we start running the gap. And Tony Lilly came up on a play action fake. And if you ever go back to watch that video, when we faked that ball, you can see how he almost said, "Oh shit," And Ricky Sanders was gone on the post route behind him, So we was able to run the ball well, which gave me an opportunity to throw the ball well. And the offensive line, man, as I slipped and hurt my knee, they got in the huddle and said, "Hey guys, nobody gonna touch him the rest of the day," and the rest of it was history.
And the last thing, Coach, guys, y'all, I don't know if and Coach, when they ran up to you, when you knew you got the MVP, and let me tell you something, I don't know how big you thought it was. Tears came to my eyes when you said, "I'm going to Disney World."
Well, you know what about that? Night before, a lady that came to my room from Disney World. They went to John Elway room too. Let me say that. Whoever the winner was gonna get a chance to say it. And I just said, okay, But I was walking off the field. I was hurting. I had my helmet in the air. I'm just a lot of stuff was going through my mind. Lady probably was about 4'11", and I just felt her just jerking on my pants, saying, "Go to Disney World, go to Disney World." I said, "Okay, I'm going to Disney World. I'm going." Just turned and just said that. That's how they kept the whole thing.
Yeah, man, that was a black moment, because we always. I cherish anything black. I'm not a racist guy whatsoever, Coach.
No, but hey, Johnny, I understand. That's me.
Man, I mean, you don't know how many little boys, myself, looked up to that like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be.
Well, this is what I'll say. Those passes, those guys didn't have to break stride on any of those passes. Were you in the zone in that?
That's a good question. A lot of people ask me, was I in the zone? I don't know what the zone is. All I know, whatever we called was working. We ran a 50 bang where the tight end come in and trap the tackle up in the middle of the line, and I turned around. I hand the ball to Timmy Smith, and I promise you, wasn't nobody 10 yards within that line. They had wiped that line completely out. And Timmy didn't get touched. He just went up the sideline, man.
Well, Joe, you must have never played basketball, man. The zone.
Yeah,
anything I put up for some reason is going in that night.
No. I had one of them nights one day. I had one of them nights. You're right. I scored 38 points one night. I didn't know how I got them there, but I got it in there.
Coach, man, appreciate you, man. I thank you so much. You never, whenever I reach out, and you showed me that 40 years ago, man, from the time you stood on who you were who you were, you never ran away from your blackness, you never ran away from HBCU, man. I just can't say enough, it's personally, I think you're one of the greatest in the world. Keep up the good work of what you're doing, man, and I look to hopefully, your black college deal go to the next level.
Appreciate you, John. Appreciate all y'all, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
All right. Thank
Appreciate you, Coach. Thank you.
Hey, man, that was a big one, Coach Cole.
Coach, I just have my cheeks just I'm just like this the whole time, Coach.
Man, hey, like I say, to have Doug Williams on the show and for him to give us an hour and a half, I don't know what it is about our show. Are you giving them drinks before they come on the show or something, Coach Cole?
You know, I'm so, having one every now and then.
Because anybody who comes on the show, Mr. Campbell, they sit down and talk to us like they in their living room, and they just give us so much information and knowledge, and man, it's just amazing, man, to get these interviews and talk to these people.
Let me tell you why that is. Because there's an appreciation from these men that have been trailblazers, and they have not gotten the shine that they deserve. And they want to tell these stories, but we talk about this all the time.
There ain't no platform, Coach.
There is. I'm gonna say this, and Coach understand. We're all the same age. We're on the same age group. We did not have this growing up. It was controlled by people, the radio station, the TV, and they determined the time and what the topic of conversation was. We couldn't get on something like this and control it and call and the technology. So that's why I'm always so happy to say I didn't have this growing up. You got to understand, I met a lot of people. I mean, a lot of famous people. And I mean, I met Michael Jordan. I met Muhammad Ali. But I'm telling you, this is one of the top 5 people because, and Coach Rocky likes it, we're to say, I was a senior in high school, sitting in Jackson, Mississippi. Again, knowing who this guy was. I'm from Jackson. Seeing a guy from Grambling, a black quarterback, hearing all the things. A black man can't think. He's not smart enough. He got to run around. And this was a pocket pass. And again, John Elway, that boy could play. But he was the great. John Elway was Tom Brady before Tom Brady, okay? This was John Elway, okay? And John Elway, they going to smoke them. And a black man, ain't no way, John Elway. And to see the domination.
And like from HBCU college.
From HBCU during that time to be the first and the pride. Like I said, everybody in Jackson went crazy. Like I said, my mother, I could call her right now. She's going to lose her mind. I should have told her I was on. She's going to lose her mind when she sees this. So that is what I have found with these guys. And for a person like Doug, who, when I say it's 2 things, he loves Grambling and he loves HBCUs. And he has been a brand ambassador since the day he stepped in the professional field.
You know, guys, I'm 54 years old, and I've been a big sports fan all my life, right? But there's 2 things that I remember as a black man or a black person that made me feel so much pride that I couldn't even explain. And the celebration was almost out of body-ish. It was that Sunday evening when Doug Williams won the Super Bowl and when Barack Obama stepped on that stage in Chicago. Those are 2 experiences that I really can't even put into words how I felt as a black man, of how it almost was this, and this might be hyperbolic or whatever you may say, but I felt the chains break off of us in both of those 2 instances. It felt like we were being held back on the football field, and Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl, something was freeing about him finally winning the Super Bowl on that day. And then, of course, with Barack Obama becoming president of the United States, it was definitely something freeing and liberating about that experience as well. So I just wanted to say those are 2 experiences, one in sports, one in politics, that I can truly say really impacted me in a way that I really can't truly put into words. Do you guys have any experiences like that? Or
let me say this. You talked about the Super Bowl, the biggest party in the world, the biggest football game and sporting event in the world it could bring. President Obama being the president and the number 1 man, a black man being the number 1 man in the whole free world. Those are unprecedented situations and positions. But what I want to do, guys, is also contribute to you 2 guys for doing your homework, great questions. I mean, we were right on time. And like I said, the platform, I think he enjoyed it. And I mean, Campbell, you said it enough. It wasn't never, we have nowhere to celebrate our heroes. You know what I mean? And these times back in the 70s and the 80s that have been forgotten. You know, as you always say, Campbell, these young folks think it just started. You know, and that's the sad part about it is you guys don't know where it comes from. So you don't know what a winning coach look like. You don't know what a superstar or these people that went through so much to do so many things because you don't have no background or presence of the expectations. You know, we grew up and we were young or in teenage or in even college, seeing 4, 5, 6 guys get drafted. You know, 20 guys get drafted from the SWAC. So now these days we don't have any. So when you guys are talking about, you know, football in the SWAC, yeah, we get it, and we give you your guys respect, but we got to get the guys who laid the foundation, man. You know what I mean? Who made it where Black college was something. And that's why I wanted to make sure we touch bases on, man, they sold out stadiums, coach. We talking about the Magic City class. Oh, this is the biggest ever. They sold out Yankee Stadium, coach. They sold out the 8th wonder of the world, Houston, Texas. 75,000, the first indoor facility.
And the money wasn't the money like it was. You had to save your money to go to them games.
Yeah.
So like this one, a bunch of rich folks going to these games.
Yeah.
Now.
So we're not doubting what's going on. We just said pick your game up because it's been done already.
You know, one of the things that probably the most surprising thing that came out of that interview, that when I reflect on it, I'll go back. This is the interview that I'm definitely gonna go back and watch, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go back and watch because I want to make sure I got everything. But the one thing that, and I'll ask you this, Mr. Campbell, were you surprised to hear him say that if he had his way, he'd be still at Grambling right now?
No, because what was the first thing I said to you? I said 2 things that he loves. Grambling number 1 and HBCU's number 2. Doug Williams has always, first of all, because let me tell you what Doug Williams understood. His first support system was Grambling State University. When he was still in the NFL, you know who his support system was? When he was catching all hell? Grambling State University. Coach Eddie Robinson. He talks about this. When things were tough, you gotta understand something. Hugh Culver, I think a lot of people don't understand why he left Tampa Bay. He got screwed over with the money. They were paying him like $150,000, $120,000. He wanted to just get like $400,000. And Hugh Culver, everybody was known as a total cheapskate.
He was
like,
the lowest paid coach, and he's the first round.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was like, and you gotta say it was a big risk. I remember this when USFL started. And Doug, you don't do that. Don't go to USFL. They're gonna blackball you. He said, "Shit, I'm going and get $3 million." But he made those decisions because people from Grambling that he was able to talk to, and of course with his agents and stuff like that. But he had this support system and this tremendous love. So it doesn't shock me as somebody who has admired and watched him from afar. This is the first time I got to talk to him. But I know a lot of people in his orbit. And I've met people that know him very well. He is a person that understands what the mission of Grambling State University and HBCUs as a whole are.
Well, I said this. I don't know if you listened to me when I said it, Coach Cole. I say the most surprising thing that came out of that interview was, he's an executive with taking in consideration, he's an executive with the Commanders. What he said was, if I had my way, I'd still be at Grambling. Like that was quite profound to me, considering the success he's experienced outside of the HBCU atmosphere. That if he had his way, and the first thing to me, considering the struggles of Grambling here recently, why the hell he ain't at Grambling? And that's a good ass question. You know what I mean?
Like, man, because he got a great job, and he's at the Commanders that allows him to do all the other things. He don't need them headaches down at Grambling.
No. But what I'm saying is, but again, my point is, he should have been
able to walk away
on his own terms.
And I'm not gonna say the president. I know the president he's talking about because everybody heard this famous story. Because it reverberated. It was like he did what to Doug Williams. So this goes back to what we're talking about, not understanding what a person means to your university and all the things he brings. But when you have people that are book first, don't understand what like I said, what that football made Grambling famous.
That's right.
And there's
No question. No question.
Football kept the lights on. There was a reason, like you said, they only played 3 home games. Because shit, they wasn't making no money. Hey, take this on the road. You gonna give us what? And he coach, you know, they're back $70,000-$80,000 to play, all expenses. We going.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, it was quite profound to me that he would say that, a man in his position.
But
go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
But this is why, guys, you know, again, I guess I repeat myself, why this is so important to me. And what you guys are doing is helping me, you know, live my dream. Whether I get a dime from this, you know what I mean, or a nickel. I'm not doing this for money. You know, me, one big thing, I don't do that for money. You know, I live on bread alone, but this is what I'm talking about. You know, that we don't take care of our own, Coach. We don't. You know what I mean? We forget about it. But I know a lot of other guys that I definitely like, Willie Todd and Arneas Williams and, you know, Chris Scott and all these greats that have left him, you know, Grambling guys and Jackie Walker and John McKenzie at Grambling and Eddie Payton. You know, I interviewed Eddie Payton before. Before there was a Payton, Eddie Payton was the guy, guys.
Yes, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man,
everybody tell you that.
Coach, he was twice as fast as his brother was.
I watched him. I watched him return a kickoff for a touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings once.
And let me tell you this. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I would say that's my for me. That's my. I don't know if he came from the. He must have came from like the Canadian League or something like that, because it was probably in the early '80s when I saw him do this. Mm-hmm. So if he was older than Walter, he was already an established player. So he must have been again. He must have come from some other league, but he returned the kickoff for a touchdown by the Minnesota Vikings, if I'm not mistaken.
And he was, you know, he coached golf at Jackson State. Y'all know how many SWAC championships he won? 27.
Wow.
27 SWAC championships. They wouldn't make him the athletic director, you know what I mean? And then he ended up just walking away. This is why I'm talking about love, guys. This is what I'm talking about, making sure that you protect your brand. You know what I mean? I know you Jacksonians out there. So I'm gonna get Eddie on, you know, and I'll wait. You know, I don't know what we can call this section, Campbell. I know you come up with all our different things, you know, legendary, you know, day or whatever you want, and we could do those type of things because, you know, I know, you know, a bunch of guys that love to come on and have this same conversation. You know,
let me say
Mike
something funny
on here.
Rocky, let me tell you that, and the coaches, this is not hyperbole. Eddie Payton was one of the forerunners to get black people to play golf. Period.
Yeah.
He had black people in Jackson playing golf and there were a lot because of Eddie Payton that picked up the game way before Tiger Woods. Those old heads.
Play it again.
Thank you. So I think the impact, what you said, from golf alone made him a Hall of Famer in his second career. Like Coach said. And Jackson, unfortunately, because I think Title IX, they had to drop the golf program. I don't know if they brought it back or whatever. But I know that was one of the things, too, that everybody was like, and I mean, Jackson had a legendary golf program. Not like you say, there wasn't like some amateurs. Legendary golf program because Eddie Payton.
Hey, let's go ahead and pick these last games, and then we can get everything wrapped up and have our last reflections on the interview with Doug Williams.
Can I, one thing,
Sure.
It was a guy said Jackie Walker. He knew Jackie Walker, and they talk all the time.
Yeah, that's Hunt. He's a very good. He watches all the time. Uh-huh.
Ronald Hunt, Jackie Walker. We met on the SWAC tour. That guy became my guy If you can give Jackie Walker my number, please have him call me. It's Ronald Hunt, 334-318-1141. 334-318-1141. Ronald Hunt, have Jackie Walker call me, please. I would love to have Jackie on the show. Great linebacker, 6'5", run like a wind. Man, great player, played in the NFL. But go ahead. That was my guy. And we had some stories to tell. I got to catch up with him. All right, go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to get to these picks. We can speed through these. We got Tennessee State, Western Illinois. I'm taking Tennessee State. Western Illinois, I think, is 1-something.
Yeah.
Anybody got any? I know y'all going to take NCAT on the Villanova against Villanova.
I'm not.
Nowhere, no how.
This ought to be a good game, though. Townsend State and Hampton. That ought to be competitive.
I got Hampton.
I'll take Townsend on that one.
Okay.
What about you, Mr. Campbell?
You know what? I'm going to go Hampton.
And then I'm sure we all have Morgan on this one right here, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Did we all decide we were going to take Tennessee State against Western Illinois, or was somebody good?
I'm going to take State. I'm going to take Tennessee State.
What about you, Campbell?
Yeah, I'm going to take Tennessee State.
All right. This is a big game in the MEAC. All right. I just see this seems like it's going to be a special season for South Carolina State. I watched what I consider an exceptional quarterback play last Thursday. I think he'll follow it up with another good game on the road at Howard. And I'm going to take South Carolina State on this
one. I think South Carolina State won a big one. Sometimes them big ones can carry over to the next week. And you forget about winning this one. I'm going to go with Howard.
I was going to say big game. The game is actually in D.C., but I'm just going to tell you something, what I like about Chinsbury. I think he smells it. And I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder and an ego. And I think he's not going to let these guys get in the way of him getting that Celebration Bowl. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think Howard will run the ball a little bit starting off, but I think South Carolina, and I think Eric Phoenix is in the groove. I think he's going to throw for another 3 touchdowns.
Absolutely. I think the South, as much as South Carolina State has been known for running the ball and playing defense, I think with Eric Phoenix, they've adopted a new identity this year because with those wide receivers and Eric Phoenix, they're really able to move the ball quite well. So here are the SWAC games, and we got these are the just so-so games, and then we'll I could have done Florida A&M with a feature game, but what Prairie View
that's
is
not no feature game. That's not no feature game. It better not be. It better not be no. FAMU should handle their business
just like they did this week.
Yeah, they better. This like I say again. This is, and honestly, this is not being funny. This is our last road game, but this was the trap game that I was worried about. So this game right here, FAMU first of all has to win it to keep pace with Jackson State. So next week can really mean something for a lot of teams. FAMU, Jackson State, and Alabama State. So FAMU goes down to Prairie View and handle their business.
All right, Mississippi Valley and Jackson State. I think Jackson State's punishment is they had to give Mississippi Valley their playbook this week. With that being said, with Mississippi Valley knowing all the plays, all the signals, all the signs, what do you think is going to happen today on this game, Mr. Campbell?
Listen, I think that Jackson State is going to clown folks about playbooks and things like that, and I think unfortunately Valley is going to be the one that's going to catch. I think Jackson State's going to try to go for 50.
Yeah, they'll get 50, Coach. And let me say this: I know I've been saying Alabama State will beat Jackson State, but you know I'm kind of going back on my. And first of all, Florida A&M, I think Prairie View has turned in their helmets and their food IDs, and they just gonna make it through the year and look for next year. You know what makes Jackson State so great, guys, to me, and so much dominant than everybody? Coach, they rushing over 200 yards a game. And they playing great defense. And they ain't even brought out the playbook. If T.C. Taylor stays tight to his cuff, put winning over T.C. Taylor, I don't see nobody stopping them, Coach. I think they're the best black college football team in the country. So it's a wash. I mean, it's what you say. How many they gonna score, Coach? 50. Yeah, it's a 50. It's a 50.
Hey, I just want to say something to the Jackson State people. Coach Cole is putting his resume out there because you see he's been riding. So if there's an analyst job, please give it to Coach Cole because he's been riding with y'all, and now he done switched up. See, TC must have told him, say, Coach, you know, we might have a spot open for it. So now you got to switch up, right? You see how he switch up real quick. He doing it. So now he ain't got to pick him next week. See,
TC gave my system some tickets, man, to come to the game. You know, last week I just texted him and he hit me back. I said, Coach, I know you're busy, man, but can you give me? I need 4 tickets, Coach. You know, trying to get some students down to Jackson State, and you know, I thought he was gonna big boy me, Coach. He hit me back, man, on that Thursday. Coach, I got you. Don't even worry about it.
Hey, Coach E-Rob, you see how he did you? You see how your boy did you, Coach E-Rob? You see how he did you? I'm still riding with you, bro. 88, baby.
The same thing I do with y'all, Coach. Y'all know, man, we look, we welcome on everybody's campus, Coach. We ain't getting kicked off nobody's campus. We good. We up in the suites. We cutting turkey. We eating good sandwiches, all that good stuff, Coach.
Hey,
we do people right here, Coach.
Now on this next game up top here, Alabama A&M and UAPB, does Maynard pull up to U-Haul this weekend, or is his stuff still in the house?
Let me say this. This is going to be a good football game. Both of them throw that football around. You know, both of them are exciting on the offensive side of the ball. Both of them got something to play for. You know what they got to play for? I ain't going to be last this year. You know what I mean? I ain't dropping to the bottom. You know, so this is going to be a good football game.
Look, I've got a bet with a brother, Jay White. He loves the Alabama A&M Bulldogs. I told him that they would only win 2 SWAC conference games. They got one. They snuck one against Bethune, which really messed me up. So I need UAPB to win this. So I'm taking UAPB.
I got you.
All right, here we go. Bethune-Cookman and Southern.
It's a toss-up between the worst team, on the East and the best team on the West. I hate to say it.
The worst team on the East is Mississippi Valley. I'm not going to let you do Bethune like that.
Oh, that's right. They beat Grambling last week.
And they also beat Alabama A&M, didn't they?
They got 2, yeah.
I thought they beat Valley.
They beat Valley.
Yeah, they beat Valley.
They barely lost to Alabama A&M.
Yeah.
Okay, my apologies.
Yeah.
No, Alabama blew them out.
So,
I think.
So let me ask you.
It's sad to say Southern is winning the West. You know,
but you think they could lose this game?
Easily can you lose it? Easy.
What do you think, Mr. Campbell?
Well, here's the thing. We talked about this earlier. Southern's got their freshman quarterback T-Set. I think we saw that this kid has talent. I think they got balance now where they can throw the ball. I would have said earlier I still would have picked Southern to lose, but I think Southern has balance. And I think they're going to score enough points, even though Bethune went back to the other quarterback. I think Southern, you know, again, I just got to give them credit. I think they're gonna win Southern's way. It's not going to be pretty, but they're going to end up winning it.
Turn around and look at that G. Bethune beat that G. They hype, Coach. They believing in themselves. They're looking for next year, and they know they got to start this year. If I was a coach, that's what I'd be saying.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I need Bethune to beat them so Southern doesn't get to that SWAC championship game. So I don't owe this $200.
Well, this is what I would say. Southern, if they do get clipped here, right, this could put their SWAC championship aspirations in jeopardy and could propel Texas Southern to the championship game.
Not Texas Southern.
Alcorn. My bad.
Texas Southern done. Ain't enough games left in the season for Texas Southern to go.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. All right, here we go. This is our feature game. We didn't have much to pick from, guys. We didn't have much to pick for, but I think this is a game that could bury Grambling right here if they're not already buried. Will they get buried in this game?
Okay, I'm going to go first, Coach. You see what I got on. You see my background.
That's right.
Hey, man, I like I say, FAMU, Jack State, the G, Alcorn, secondary. But those my three. But I'm sorry. I got to be a fan this week, and I need Alabama State to win this game. Because I need that game to be set up next week between Alabama and Jack State to mean something. If Alabama State drops this game, then that game won't mean anything. Because Jack State could drop it and still win the swag. So I need Alabama State to keep chugging along like they do, hold Grambling to 14, and they get their 17 to 21 points. And I think they're going to do it. So I'm going to take Alabama State. Let's go, Bama State.
I got Alabama State as well.
Hey, ain't no way, man. You playing against the best defense in the conference. Offensively, they got some things together. Also, my resources tell me they got their tailback back. They started the season off. He's back healthy. He had a high ankle sprain. I can't see it, Coach. And I don't know. We got to get the report on Crowley to see if he's coming back. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, what have he done this year? What have he done this year to make you think that he'll come in against the best defense in the SWAC and blow it out and tear it up? I don't see it. Alabama State's defense is the strong point is a pass defense. Even though they stopped the run as well, but they stopped the pass as well. Those 6'2", 6'3" corners they got, they can play a lot of man coverage. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be hell at Hornet Stadium.
I gotta ask you guys a question. If Alabama State, now this is all speculation on my part. I really don't know anything, so this may be wishful thinking. If Body is healthy next week, do you suit him up as emergency quarterback?
No.
No. And he's not going to be healthy next week.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be, and first of all, I don't think they want to put that young man in jeopardy because I think that injury hasn't healed. And I mean, listen, they got the young guy. I think that he has the confidence of the team. And you just got to, like I said, next man up. So I don't think you really bring that guy in there. No, I just don't think.
And they got their starting tailback back too. So that's going to be very interesting as well.
Okay.
So
all right. I've just, like I say, Body's been out 2 months. I'm not sure exactly what the injury was. I didn't know the rehab time out, but he's been out almost 3 months now. Anyway.
Well, you don't want to play because you don't want to lose that eligibility. That's why.
Okay.
So that's why you don't want to play.
Got you.
Right.
All right. Here's the last one. Game of the day. What do you think, Coach?
Man, as sad as to say that it's the game of the day. You got two teams. Texas Southern got 4 losses. Alcorn got 4 losses, I'm pretty sure. It's legitimate because Texas Southern, one of those teams, if you sleep on them, they can sneak in and beat you. It'll end Alcorn and then throw the throne to Southern, whatever happens in the Bayou Classic, because they already got 2 losses and the season's just about over. So Alcorn got more to lose than Texas Southern. Texas Southern is just trying to find their way, more victories and those kind of things, knowing that they can't possibly go to the championship. So I'm gonna take Alcorn. They got more to play for.
Hey, Texas Southern 3-5, 2-3 in the SWAC. Alcorn 4-5, 3-2 in the SWAC. This game means something for Alcorn. It's down there on the reservation. They've got to win this game. Goes back again. They got to try to keep pace with Southern and hope that a couple of people knock Southern off at the end and they have some miracle that they beat Jackson State. So Alcorn has a lot more to play for. I think Texas Southern has basically peaked and have tried the best of what they could do. I think they really have fun. Again, I like what Coach Disman has done, but I think they just fumbled the quarterback situation. I think they should let Jace Wilson play and let that kid rock because he had the experience. I think that would have been as you can see now. I think that would have been a better choice. So no, I got to go with Alcorn.
That's why when we talked about, and I want to do next week, Coach, in one of your sessions. Let's talk about the grade on the older coaches.
Okay, let's do it.
But speaking of Chris Dishman, just what you just said, that's another bad coaching decision that you're going to play a freshman over a kid that's been in the mix. You know what I mean? You're not expecting to win. You know what I'm saying? You know, Jace Wilson was picked preseason. Was it?
Second team
all conference. And you telling me that this freshman kid that's just coming from high school beat him out in a week of practice?
Yeah.
You know, what plays was you calling? What defense was you calling against? It's a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't get that. And if he continues with that philosophy, which is a sign of a young coach who have heard of somebody who do that, that's not a winning formula, man. A kid can be sick that week, arm sore, plays you call, defenses you call against, you know, to have a bad week. You know, I'm the starter, so I'm going to, you know, kids' defenses on the other side. You know, kids play against each other in practice. So I want to get an interception on the starting quarterback. When the backup come in there, you know, it's like, oh, you know, I'm not. So anyway, y'all understand what I'm saying?
Well,
you know, his philosophy is we gonna compete every week.
Well, one thing I can say about these last two games we called, right? And I'm picking out Alcorn to win. But if Alcorn or Southern drops a game, drops these games, it sends the West in turmoil. The West goes in turmoil at that point. And it sets up a situation where it probably is going to be a 3-win team that ends up playing in the championship game.
Well, that's how it's always been, ain't it? Cameron, the last
three. You mean 3 losses?
Yeah, 3 losses.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's always been that way. The last 3 years.
Wow. So, but yeah, I got Alcorn here. I don't see a situation where Texas Southern can win this game with a freshman quarterback. They play hard though. They do play hard, and they keep it close to the vest. But I think they got beat up pretty bad last week. So yeah. I don't suspect them to go on the road and get a victory. I think that's. Did you have? So all of us had Alcorn. Is that what?
Yes. Yeah.
All of us had Alcorn. Hey, fellas, this is another great show. This is just what I needed today as a fan and a citizen of America.
You better believe
I needed this today, and this has been great therapy. And so it's been, you know, it's been a much needed escape. But one thing I can say, as a black man and a black person, we've made it to this point, and we'll continue to make it as well, regardless of what has happened in our country. We'll find a way, like we always have. And if you guys have anything else y'all like to say, y'all
I got 2 things I want to say.
Go ahead.
And because I'm not going to run away from this. A lot of people, Scotty did a show today, and he voiced some things. But I'm going to say this to all my young people. Mental health is a serious thing. And you cannot allow outside factors and forces, social media, YouTube, and things like this to get you to a point where it affects your mental health. And I think we're getting to this point where we're starting to be concerned about people that really don't care about us. And that goes on both sides. So I'm just going to say this again. I've been on this to all my young people. Stop giving yourself this turmoil, worrying about what other people say. Put the damn phone down. Cut Twitter off. Cut YouTube off. And worry and talk to people that care and love you. There's people say stuff about me all day, every day. But you know what I learned? They ain't helping me pay no bills, and they ain't helping me sell no weave. So I don't care nothing about what they say. And I laugh. I see people say stuff about me, but I understand those people don't do anything for my life. So I'm going to say this to all of you all that are in this mix. First of all, give yourself a mental break. Stop going back and forth with each other, because you're not doing anything but giving your own self mental anguish, and you're not making any money doing it. So I'm going to pray for all of you all, because I see the mental pain and stress that it puts on all of y'all. I see Timona posting stuff and Scotty posting stuff and this person posting stuff, and all of you all are talented. Stick to the talent. Talk about the schools. Talk about the game, and stop talking about each other. And the last thing I'm going to say is to all my people that went out there and voted. No matter what happened last night, I appreciate the fact that you exercised your right to vote, because I am from Jackson, Mississippi. There were people that marched and could not vote. My grandfather, I made a post, could not, when he graduated college, he couldn't vote in 1938. So for us to have this ability to exercise the democratic process, unfortunately didn't go where a lot of us want to. Just keep voting, because if you keep voting, you keep having the opportunity to change the world. So I appreciate you all. I appreciate Coach allowing me to have this G behind me, because it means a lot to have this opportunity as somebody who is a lover of HBCUs and loves everybody associated with this. I just want everybody to understand something. This is for us and by us. So I really appreciate you, Coach. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, man, I tell you what, I very upset. I had a rough night because of the election. Of course, now you know who I was leaning for. I'm from a family of 9 boys, and I just been raised that if you put the time in and you're qualified, you should be able to be the person who runs the job. In America, let me say this: it's the greatest country in the world. But it just let me down last night. And everybody has their reasons. Now President Donald J. Trump is our president. I will support. I'm not a sore loser, but I just thought that, and I'm gonna say this, that this lady, our Vice President Kamala Harris, is one of the most brilliant people in the world. She's done the work. She's put the time in. I think she deserved to be the head coach. I mean, the president of the United States. You know, I'm a football guy, but it didn't happen. I think that in my lifetime, that I never thought I would see a woman. I didn't only see one woman. I see now 2, and especially a woman of color, to be nominated to be the president, or to be in the running for being the president of the United States. I think after last night, and I'm talking to women and men of color and men of immigrants, or whatever they want to say, that sent women back 50 years. I think in my next on from here, that I would never see another woman be in the running for being the president of the United States. I would love to see that, because I have 2 daughters, and they are just brilliant, and they mean the world to me, about women's health, abortion rights. You know, that's scary, and I will have a talk with my daughters about choosing a mate, about doing those things when it concerns to health care, to make sure that we in front of this thing, because that's real, and it's about to get very real. So you know, I'm not a sore loser. You know, winners win and losers lose. Not saying that Kamala Harris is a loser, because she's won everything. I take my hat off to her, AKA Divine 9. I'm a Kappa man, that good things. So we definitely will move on. So I appreciate it. I love you guys. I can't say enough about Steve and Rock, the study that they do behind. Guys, get ready for a different world. Get ready for what's going to take place. We got to sit in it. We got to own it. And like I said, if you feel yourself at the end of the road, you tie a knot. And you just hold on tight, baby.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Monday, November 18th, 2024. Number 1. Of the more controversial nominations President-elect Donald Trump has announced for his cabinet, naming former Congressman Matt Gaetz as his choice for Attorney General appears to be the most controversial for now. Although Republicans have a slim 4 to 6 person majority in the Senate as of right now, that may not be enough to confirm Gaetz to be head of the U.S. Department of Justice. It's been reported that the committee was reviewing allegations against Gaetz involving sexual misconduct, drug use, inappropriate conduct on the House floor, misuse of records, campaign fund misuse, and potential bribery or improper gifts. Number 2. Judith Jamison, celebrated dancer and former artistic director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, has died at the age of 81 following a brief illness. Known for her iconic performances in Revelations and Cry, Jamison broke barriers in dance, inspiring generations as a performer, choreographer, and leader during her 20-year tenure directing the Alvin Ailey Company. Her legacy as a trailblazer and cultural icon is honored in an exhibition at New York's Whitney Museum of American Art. Number 3. The first U.S. case of the more severe Clade 1 monkeypox or Mpox strain was confirmed in California, linked to recent travel from Eastern Africa, where an outbreak is ongoing. The individual, now recovering at home, is being monitored along with potential contacts by the CDC and state health officials. Monkeypox, or now called Mpox, a viral disease related to smallpox, spreads through close contact and contaminated materials, with Clade 2 causing a prior U.S. outbreak in 2022 and 23. And Clade 1 associated with more severe cases. Number 4. Las Vegas police fatally shot a black man by the name of Brandon Durham after he called 911 during a violent home invasion involving a suspect, Alejandro Boudreaux, who was later arrested. A police officer entered Brandon Durham's home, saw Durham and Boudreaux struggling over a knife, and opened fire, striking Mr. Durham, who was later pronounced dead at the scene. Durham's family has expressed outrage, accusing police of racial bias and mishandling the situation, leaving his 15-year-old daughter and partner devastated. Number 5. Did you know that God is always with you? It says so in the Bible. Psalm 16:8 reads, I know the Lord is always with me. I will not be shaken, for he is right beside me. God responds to his children when we call out his name. Have a humble heart, James 4:6 said. God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Sometimes we can't sense God is near because there are too many distractions, too much noise. Take a deep breath and focus on him. Read more about this in today's Ministry Monday. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is short, so make it a priority to have fun every day. I'm Sybil Wilkes.
My name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.